I flew like 5 patterns today.
I
Yeah,
have
Samantha.
flying in my mind more than I have in a long time, so I don't know if that accounts for anything or not.
Yeah, that helps. That's good. I mean, I do the finger pattern quite a bit. I do that all the time.
Yeah, I'm back to lulling myself to sleep thinking about flying a pattern.
Yes, exactly. So
When
I
I
went out there today trying to work on shrinking my maneuver. So I had a at the last contest I was at. This friend of mine, Bill Biles, told me, Charles, just squeeze a little bit more. Just don't worry about it. Just keep trying to squeeze a little more, and then have someone tell you when you're at 45 degrees.
Yeah, that was
So
what that was going to be my question. What do you must be flying higher and of course wider than 45 degrees?
yeah, so I'm mostly higher than 45. So I was just squeezing a little bit more and working on that. Something I got to work on because um, that's part of my deficiency is my maneuvers are they all are really the shapes are good. The sizes aren't so good. The sizes are too big.
I get you there. We did that with Samantha's airplane. I stuck her on 60-foot lines,
Uh huh.
and that actually gives you less space to fly him in.
Right. Yes. Yes.
And learn to get that like that. And then tonight we put her on 63 footers, and just that 3 foot, you can't believe what a difference it made.
Yeah, it gives you more space. That's why I try to get. I mean, one of my goals is always to get the longest lines I possibly can. And that's why I had opened up the Venturi on my stalker and I got to the point where I was on 66-foot lines, and it gave me a lot of space to work in. Today I was on 64-foot lines, and but then when I was examining my lines, I saw a one of the strands that broke near the handle.
Wow.
And so I said, oh, I ain't taking no chances. So I took that line back off, or she took that line off, and then put the 62s back on, which are in good shape. So, but I always try to get as longest lines as I can. It does give you more space.
Yeah, Dick that we fly with is one of his new airplanes. He got a lean run on his stalker, and he said that it was pulling so hard he had to hold it with 2 hands,
Wow.
and the crimp on his handle broke. When it took that one out, he said it hit so hard on the next line it snapped that the airplane flew off and into a tree.
Wow. Was that pulling hard?
Yeah,
Now, what stalker was this?
his 61.
Wow. Yeah. Ah, man. Yeah, my it's amazing. My stalker, it that plane is as big as the Strega is.
Yeah.
It's comfortable. It doesn't. I had a my top flight score. I've had 2 scores. Now my score was more uncomfortable than any plane that I've ever flown. My Super Tiger 51 sometimes would just get into a fast 2 cycle, and it was hell to pay when it was in that mode because that plane would just it was so heavy, and I mean for its size, I mean it's actually lighter than the Strega is, but it just pulled so hard that I didn't like it when it was in the 2 cycle. It's very uncomfortable.
Oh yeah. I mean, I couldn't believe that thing pulled that hard, but he flying that big pitch prop on there, and he was down. I think he was flying like 1.2, 1.1 second laps anyway. And then once that thing went lean, it just wound up like crazy, he said.
Wow. Now what clips did you actually break the clips?
No, it was on these wire on the handles that have the wire run through them, and you can change it.
Oh,
It's got
yeah.
that pinch clip on there.
Yes.
It pulled that out of that.
Wow. Yeah.
I
Well,
always kind of wondered about. He's never had a problem in all this time of flying them. But
yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's why I pretty much use hard point handles.
but you get up around 60 some ounces. I think that weighed 63 or 64 ounces. and then you speed that up. You said the thing was doing like 4-second laps. It took off, and just
That's scary. I mean, I actually had a plane one time. I pulled the bell crank out, but unfortunately, I landed the plane, and then when I inspected it, it actually had pulled the bell crank. You know, it pulled it out a couple of ribs. You know,
oh, okay.
but when I was flying it, I was thinking, man, I hope this bell crank holds, and it
You know,
did.
we had a weird thing tonight. Samantha, on her second flight, put another battery in it, stuff, and she took off and got in like 4 level laps, and the damn thing just said "Poof," and just quit.
Wow, that's scary.
And I thought, well, but I see that the balance in the battery is off, so I don't know if that did something with the ESC or whatever. He put another battery, 2 more batteries in it. She flew them out, and not a problem. But yeah, I have no idea why it had that glitch.
Yeah, that's the one thing I don't like about electronics is it just will just shut off and you don't have any clue what happened. It all looks fine, you know.
Yeah.
I have a friend I fly with, and I've been flying with him for like 15 years, and I've never seen him crash. But you know what? He's had 3 crashes lately, and they're all electrics. They all just stopped for one reason or another, right at the worst possible time.
What timer is he using?
Oh, I don't know anything about what he has.
No.
I couldn't tell you anything except for that they were electric. So
because we crashed 2 with a KR timer, and that's when we quit doing electric. Now we came back, but they reprogrammed whatever. But I like the deal with the prop strike feature in there. But I think if you have a motor that the bearings are starting to go or whatever, and both times it was when Samantha turned a square maneuver, and it was in the square 8. When she came up, that thing said, yeah, and quit right there. Just,
wow.
You know, and the only thing I can think of is that he turned it so hard, and if the bearings are starting to go bad or whatever, it binds that motor, and that timer thinks the prop hit the ground.
Was she able to recover? Or
going overcurrent and stopped, I guess.
Yeah. No, neither one she could.
I bet. That sounds like a worse time for it to bail right then and there.
Yeah, it quit, and it went up about to the 3/4 mark. But I think, though, I've used all these different ESCs, but like tonight would have been nice with the I can't think of the name of that, the light ice or whatever. Who makes that one?
Castle. Yeah, Castle.
Because then we could have plugged that in and seen exactly if we had a spike in something or what was going on, why it would just shut down like that. Because I don't know if it was the timer that shut it down. Because what was really weird is that when you first plug the battery in, you know, it plays your little tune, deet, 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 zzz, you know, I mean, it goes deet, 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 deet. So it quit. She landed it. Before it even stopped rolling, the thing went deet, 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 deet. And I could have hit the button and took off again. Wow. So it was almost like it lost complete battery power and was re-energized, or it pulled out, and then it touched. I'm not sure what actually happened, why it would do that.
Wow. Yeah, that's why I'm not going to be going to electric anytime soon.
You know, but tonight, I mean, it was really nice as, you know, she's just really cranking in wing overs and stuff like that, making sure there's no wiggle overhead. I mean, she's getting them nice and straight. I mean, she brings them up and just can bring them right across. So that's working good. And meeting bottoms on loops, you know, on her 8s.
Yes, yeah.
You can work on, you know, where to get them just right, and you know, because she tends to start she starts her insides lower, and then it's like we need to get you up because she's right at 5 foot. I mean, right at the bottom of 5 foot. And then when she does her outsides, she'll have about closer to 6 foot when she starts. And
nice.
you can see that when then she hooks the 8 together.
Right.
And I'm like, you got to raise one or lower this one a little bit, raise this one. And we were working at that to where, and that was coming in, you know. So that's the nice thing about electric, because you can fly them over and over and over and just keep a time on when the battery's going to quit. But yeah, we had that weird glitch tonight, you know, and lucky we weren't in some kind of maneuver because it was a dead off. It wasn't slow down or made an ink, you know, like it was going to quit. It just, that was it.
Are those 5-volt outputs from the battery?
The battery's 16.8 when we start, ends at 14 something when it's done.
I didn't realize it.
No, 15.1 or something like that when it's done.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't realize it was that high. And how many I guess that's like a stepping motor. How many wires go from the battery to the motor?
2. From the battery, from the battery to the ESC is 2, and from the ESC to the motor is 3.
Oh, that's all. Okay, so it's not a stepping motor.
No, it's a it takes like single phase power and turns it into 3-phase.
Okay.
Because you change any 2 on the motor and it changes rotation. So I'm not sure exactly how all that works, but it's taking 12 volts and splitting it into 3 legs.
Is it a black in 2 colors?
Yeah. Yeah, black, yellow, and blue on some of them. Some are all black. Like this one here, this motor has them all black. And then other ones will have color ones on it.
Yeah.
But I'm not good enough with electricity and all that kind of stuff to know why that does that.
Really my field, my greatest field of expertise. That's what my degree is in. But I'm so far removed from modern equipment that I don't really know what's in it now when I look at it.
Well, I know that you get more torque with a 3-phase motor than a single-phase motor.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you know, and so you get more starting torque, and you get, you know, I guess to change RPMs or keep it constant or whatever, it'll.
It's got, yeah, and I guess the ESC monitors the current flow. So if something is, you know, straining, like when you turn up into a climb, then it can sense that the motor needs an increase.
Well, you know, the other thing, like today, I mean, it was getting ready to rain, and it was so humid. And I'm wondering if it was static electricity or something that caused that.
Well, that's interesting.
Because I got a shock earlier moving around and I'm like, wow, you know. But it was so humid, the static electricity, and she was flying close to the ground, and I don't know if she got a static electricity shock or something like that.
That's an idea, definitely.
Did you get a shock through the lines, or?
No, she didn't get a shock through the lines, but I'm wondering if it went from the airplane to the ground. If that could mess up that ESC to see something funny.
Yeah, it's interesting. Could have been like an inductive type of thing.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. It was just really weird that it just shut down like that, but it was so humid, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Only one time I've got a shock. I actually did get a shock off of my one handle because it has metal running all the way through it.
Right.
And it popped. I'm like, what the hell was that? And it was static electricity.
Yeah, those I've heard of people, especially with those hot rocks or similar handles, where the adjustment loop is touching the palm of your hand, and
Right.
it'll jump at you from there.
Yeah. So that's the only thing because she flies. It's a carbon fiber handle, but it's all wrapped with a rubber grip. So it wouldn't have went through into her hand. So I don't know if it just would go then to the ground when the airplane, and it shut off on the circle we got is higher on one side than it is the other. And it actually quit where it's the closest to the ground.
Oh, interesting.
That's when it shut
straight
off.
up.
Over on that side of the circle, you're probably only at 3 feet. And it's kind of nice with the wind, but the wind was out of the east, so she had to do her maneuvers there to the west, and that's the low part. And it quit over there so when she sets over there to the low part, when she comes out and flies across the ground then and stuff, it really she's really then low to the ground. But out of the west, you set up, if you're at 5 foot where you're doing your maneuvers, when you're on the west side of the field, it's 7-8 foot.
Wow.
So, it drops down that much. So you just kind of have to pay attention to where
No
where
kidding.
where you watch the airplane from.
Yeah. No kidding. That makes it hard to judge where your pullouts are supposed to be. Like in just a simple loop, on one side you'll pull out at 5 feet. On the other side you'll pull out at however many feet difference you said it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a couple foot different, but it never really seems to bother anybody.
Hey, Gerald.
Hey, Gerald.
Hi, Steve. Hi, Charles.
Hey, Gerald. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. I'm just doing one job or another before I could come on Stunthangar.
I understand. Same here. I was running errands for my wife.
I'm going to have to leave at some point and carry on finishing off my chores too. Got all stuff lying everywhere. The boys tried mowing the flying field and they got the right arm bogged down real good, and it's all covered in mud. And I said, "Can you wash it down?" All they did was wet it. It's all covered in mud. I was scooping off big hands of mud. It was just, they've made a real mess. I'm going to have to go with the roller when it dries out and try and level it out a bit. They sort of had to go at both circles and gave up on both and dumped the machine. We were in a big mud puddle and walked off. And then they had to go for a bath. So
is this the rainy time of year for you guys?
Yep, it's very wet. Yeah, we're in the rainy season. We're living in the swamp, it feels, at this time of year. Yeah, it's like, where's Kermit? He'll like it around here right now. But it's just really mushy. But we wanted to get the field cut because otherwise the grass gets away and you just can't get it before spring. And then by the time you can cut it when it's dry enough, it's just too long to cut easily. So I was trying to get them doing the good job, but they've left me a big job now. And I was trying to put an old stove away in the shed, a spare stove. We've got a stove that's made by Fisher and Paykel, a New Zealand company, and it's 20-something years old, and I keep wrecking other old ones like it to keep it going. But it's a neat old stove. Because it was made here, you can still find the parts. It's I like the fact that you can repair it. It's very simple. It's all wires, no fancy electronics, no speed controllers, nothing that's going to go haywire.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, sometimes simple's nice. Other times you feel like you're missing out when you're missing all the whiz bang fancy things. But yeah, I was listening before as you're talking to about the speed controller problems, and the one guy that flies electric a lot with us sometimes has problems, and it's hard to pin it. Maybe it's just a poor electrical contact, and the thing recycles and goes back to the start again. And you do get odd things that happen, or a battery that's just down, and it causes it to do. Believe it's had a prop strike or something. There are things that happen that are hard to explain at times. But,
hey, Steve, you got a question from Chris. Actually, his YouTube is 18 Stingray 1. That's a pound liner. or hashtag liner on the forums. He says, "What's with the score wing?" And then he asks if you and Sam are going to Brodak.
Yeah, we're gonna leave late because she's got to go do all of her college stuff, and I need to pay up for a lot of shit or whatever. On
Okay.
Ashley, she got 2 years scholar paid. We just gotta do her dorm. So
You know who we're talking to? Stingray 1.
no,
Do you know the member on Stunthangar that calls himself hashtag liner?
yeah.
Okay, that's him. His name's
Oh,
Chris. And
what's his last
working
name?
with a Cardinal, having trouble with fuel feed lately, and he put a clump tank on it finally in his thread about that Cardinal. And I watched him fly it on YouTube today, and he got a beautiful run and a beautiful pattern. He's come such a long way from beginner a couple of seasons ago, and he just nailed a pattern on YouTube today that would have won any intermediate contest.
What's Chris's last name?
Well, I don't know if he wants me to say.
Oh, okay. Well, look me up at Brodak and
Chris, tell me if I can tell Steve your last name, and I'll see if he answers. I'll tell you if he gives me the okay.
all right, he just had to find me there at Brodak.
Yeah. But you say you are going to Brodak?
Yes, that's the plan.
Oh, good.
We probably won't go to Wednesday. It looks like we'll leave Wednesday and
with Bob Zambelli. I'll give him your TD09. If not, then oh well. I'll continue to promise to mail it to you.
all right. You know, as long as you keep promising it to me, I guess you haven't lied to me in saying that. No, you're not.
No. Yeah, let's see here. I got it sitting in the box right here. There you go.
All right.
Actually, a pretty nice one. Me and Bandit or Dave Fountain, we must have fixed it that night at my workbench when we played with it, because it used to have a little bump at bottom dead center, and it doesn't have that anymore. Since I remember we took it apart and looked at it, put it back together, so it doesn't have that bump anymore. It feels like it's slicker than owl shit. So it looks like a pretty little engine. So I hope that'll do you good.
Yeah, my brother appreciate it. I mean, we've been trying to find one, and you can find 049s and you can find 15s, but the 09s, I mean, I don't know, maybe they didn't make them that long, or
yeah. No, they made plenty of them, I think, but I don't know. But if Bob comes through Columbia between now and Brodak, I'll meet up with him and give it to him. If not, I still got it. I'll get around to mailing you and Charles.
Yeah, Charles, I went all the way down there to North Carolina. He didn't even bring it to me.
I didn't even think about it. It was about 2 weeks later on the show. I'm like, damn, I could have took that up to Hunter.
I didn't think nothing about it. And he's like, shit, why didn't I bring that? I'm like, why didn't I remind you? I forgot all about it.
I was still in a narcotic haze from the broken hip back then too. So
that's a good excuse.
Yeah, it is. That's the best one I can come up with.
Yeah, that's a good get out of jail card you got.
Yeah.
Hey, what's the other part of that question Stingray had was, what about the score wing?
Oh, I bought that I actually bought 2 of them, and one was damaged and that one was fine. And I was going to do that for a take apart for Samantha, but it's so once we started putting it together, it's so heavy.
Heavy, yeah, they are. I got one score of the 2 that are left, and they both were heavy planes. I had to put a 61 in them, like a double star 61.
Well, what it was is that the other wing, the wingtip was crushed on it. And so I peeled all the covering off, and my idea was I was going to peel all the covering off the whole thing and paint it. Well, I peeled all the covering off that score wing, and I weighed it, and it weighed 1.1 ounces. And I'm like, okay, I figure, they say you can do a silk and dope job for 8 ounces, but mine always comes out to a pound.
Wait, the whole
So,
wing weighed 1.6 ounces?
the covering on a score wing, if you peel all the covering, weigh it, peel all the covering and weigh it again, it's 1.1 ounces is what that monocoat adds to that wing.
Okay.
Well, with this one, putting it together, I seen it was going to weigh like 70 ounces. And I'm like, well, damn, if I add a pound of that, even if I could do a really good job and add 8 ounces, we're looking at an airplane that weighs 78 ounces.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah, mine was like 73, I think, or 76.
So we ended up just covering it again with monocoat. And I think all up, I forget what engine Dick put in that, but it weighs 71 ounces or 72 ounces. So I was even guessing, but I knew it was going to be up there close to 70 ounces. But I'm like, well, there ain't no peeling that and painting it. It was weight, it'd be a rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I haven't did anything with it. I'm still going to put it together. I bought a Evolution 61 for it.
Oh, good.
And I got that all mounted in there and all that kind of stuff. And I reinforced the front end. And really all I'd have to do is put it together because I put in new lead outs on it. I had to tie lead out ends. But it's ready to go together and be done. But I just haven't did it because I don't know who's going to fly it. Unless I put radio control gear in it, I can't fly it.
Whoa.
Now, what size belt crank does that have in there?
4-inch.
Oh, it is? Okay. Did it come with the 4-inch or it come with the 3-inch?
It came with a 3-inch, and I stuck it's actually a Brodak 4-inch belt crank, or a SIG, one of the two. But I got it bolted right in, and I put that in there. So maybe it was a 3.5-inch. I don't know. It was a weird kind of. It was a metal bell crank, and I took it out of there and put the nylon one in and stuff like that. But I could fly it around in circles, but do a loop with it or whatever, land it. But
hey, Steve, Chris, 18 Stingray 1 says to tell you that he was the one, or tell Steve he was the one checking out my dad's hit and miss engine last year.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know he is now.
His wife's name's Beth. I bet she was there with him too. Maybe.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah, I love them. I don't know why I like hit and miss engines.
I don't know what that is.
They have like a little counterweight things that spin out, and they go pop 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 pop, and then it takes the points out, and they'll quit. Pop 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 pop.
Wow.
They use it to pump water and stuff. Back in the day. That's how I had an uncle that had one, and I just thought that was the coolest damn thing with them two little balls that would spin out, and that would kill the points.
Oh, I've seen that kind of regulator before.
Would kill the points.
Yeah,
I was just memorized by that when I was a kid. I was 6, 7 years old. My
that is nowhere even close to what I was imagining when he said hit and miss engine.
Yeah,
I thought he was talking about a plane with a engine that was kind of running and kind of not.
Well, it's like the World War I aircraft that would use the points to control the throttle. They didn't have a throttle. They didn't have a carburetor as such, as we know it, with a throttle valve, and they just control the engine speed by turning the ignition on and off, and so that you get. It sounds like it's going to stop. It sounds like the motor's stalled, or it's flooded, or something's wrong with it. So when some of the videos from the Shuttleworth Museum of those very early aircraft flying, you get the feeling that it's very different to anything with a carburetor. But the hit and miss, I suppose, is like a governor. But with a governor, you're controlling the throttle. But like an earlier engine, you're controlling the spark instead. But that reminds me of the modern cars where you've got the traction control. And you floor the thing, and then the traction control goes off. And then sometimes it'll interfere with the radio because it's interfering with the spark. So you've got a similar thing happening.
Oh, okay.
But Rusty, what did you say when you said Stingray 1 went to a clunk tank? Was that the twin pickup clunk tank, Uniflow clunk tank, or the clunk tank like you've been using and I've been using recently, where you've got your normal pickup on the outside and the vent on the inboard side?
That was my next question for him. And so we'll ask him right now. Chris, did you use Uniflow plumbing in that clunk tank, or did you just tie the two vents together, point them straight up like I do in mine? And because I haven't read your post. If you posted about it on Stunthangar, I hadn't read it yet today or yesterday, but I did see the video today. So that's all the information I've got is that he had a clunk tank in it and it ran beautifully. And it gave him, looked like it gave him, I didn't count them, but probably 12 laps after the clover. And it gave him a little bit of warning for a couple of laps and then shut off. And it didn't snag or surge or anything. It was just a beautiful run the whole time. And he's got a LA 46 on it. And he's had an ongoing thread about that for a couple of weeks now, maybe more than that.
Oh, here he goes. No Uniflow, just plain old clunk. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way I run mine. I take both vents and turn them, point them straight up, chamfer the ends so they don't suck up against the wall. And I use one for pressure or open air vent, and I use the other one just for fueling. You don't even need the other one. It just makes it easier to handle for me to have one dedicated to fueling.
I'll be right back, you guys. I got to check on something.
Okay.
See you later, Charles.
All right.
I've got a setup like that with the moving clunk on Otto's model, but every time he dings it or it hits the ground hard, the bit of tubing's too long and the clunk goes forward, and then you've got to move the clunk back, give it a good thump, and the clunk will go back.
I've never been able to get a clunk tank to cooperate using Uniflow. I just never could get the, if I wanted to build a follower tube that followed the clunk around, it was too much junk in there to work properly, and it restricted its freedom to move around. And so once I tried it with just the vents open or pressurized, then it worked great for me. And it barely changes anything about the run. It sounds, you'd think it was a Uniflow to listen to it, because it flies until it runs out of gas and it stops. Chris gave him some warning, but mine just flew until it sucked it dry, and boom, it was completely empty, nothing but air, and she shut off.
Yeah, maybe the pressure seems to help there too. It just pushes through that last bit of fuel, and you get a quick, nice shut off.
I've always used pressure on them because I had enough air left with a 6-ounce tank, and only needing about 4.5 or maybe a little more than that ounces worth of gas. Then that's plenty of overhead to be able to utilize pressure. I learned here that filling a tank all the way up and trying to run it on pressure is a bad idea, because it'll needle fine on the ground, and once it draws down the fuel level and has some air overhead, then the compression of the air makes the pressure change, and therefore it starts leaning out, because the fuel is not compressible and air is compressible. So you can't run pressure on a tank unless you've got some air overhead when you start.
Yeah, so you've got more pressure at the start, but once the air's in there, the air's compressing and your pressure drops, and you go
right. Exactly. So it leans out.
Yeah. Well, I was just setting up one of these combat wings I've got behind me here for the boys to fly, and one of them had a Uniflow tank, but I put both pickups at the rear, the copper Uniflows, and they were too close together. It kept sucking air. I moved them around.
Yeah.
But anyone says, but it always bothers other people what I say. And it's like, he's already talking about Trump. I don't like Trump. I'm saying I don't like Trump. What I don't like about him, man. So I'm getting up everywhere. That's what
Oh well, yeah. Try and keep it unpolitical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear the first part of our show?
My wife warned me. She said, "Don't go on yet." She said, "Wait, finish, do some more of your chores, and go on later."
Yeah. Yeah, we were losing our YouTube viewers because they were dropping out. Didn't want any part of the political discussion, so we did. And so I'll go back and edit the first part of this, I think, so the reruns won't have that. Oh, looks like Steve's back. I'll unmute his mic. There we go. Okay, I had you muted, Steve. Did you say anything we missed?
Oh, just I didn't know if you could see this or not. Well, this is the clunk tank that we put on. Can you see that little piece of brass?
Yeah, well, I did. Yeah.
Maybe I should just Allen wrench, get them out in the truck. But what I did with this is a clunk, and then on the Uniflow, I put it in and brought it out right here in the center.
Just a straight hard tube?
I brought it straight and then bent it.
Yeah.
Brought it right to this outside of the tank.
Yeah, I've seen them like that before that works pretty well.
Then I took and drilled a hole in a piece of brass, put it over the outside part here, soldered it on. Now all I got to do is grab this and move it up or down to adjust my Uniflow.
Yeah.
And it works so, I mean, this has been the best Uniflow tank I've ever done.
That's the way Ken Cook told me to run them too, is or he has them so he can just turn the whole neck of the cap and adjust it. But what you're saying, just turn that tube will adjust the Uniflow a little bit.
Yep.
Moving it up and down.
Yeah, you can really adjust it a long ways.
Yeah.
And another guy showed me he did it that way, but he'd reach down and grab it with a pair of needle nose and turn it. And I thought, I'm going to put a handle on that thing.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any. I just, after I started running with the two vents, actually it's really only one vent. It's just that I have two tubes. I didn't find any need to try to plummet for Uniflow anymore because it ran so well with just the vent tubes. It didn't seem to change anything during the run. It was running the same in the first lap as it was in the last lap.
Yep. And what, we hooked pressure to it, and you can do it with pressure, without pressure. But yeah, I mean, it really worked well on.
You know what though? I don't try to run a 4.2 brake with my LA46, and you may need Uniflow in order to get a 4.2 brake. But I haven't experimented with that. I run my LA46 on my old Cardinal, just wet too, and that's what was on the P40 also.
Well, we don't go for a 4.2 brake either. It's just that gives if you're flying inverted to upright, and it'll be rich or lean, then you can just adjust that. It's like raising and lowering the tank.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. What engine was on that plane you just showed us?
That's that Enya XZS XZ something.
Okay. Yeah. Chris was asking.
Yeah, it was that. That's my favorite 40 out of any small engine. He only made, I think, that one run of them because it had that Russian aluminum piston, and it has a the real hard like glass ceramic. It has a ceramic cylinder in it. And because he couldn't get the certain type of aluminum, he couldn't make them anymore. My brother has a 60 that's made like that too, and people really love. Now he went with back to rings and stuff, but I got that one's mine, and I got one in a box that Samantha won at the FMC. in a raffle, and that one's never been run yet. But yeah, that I mean, it only weighs, I think, 7.8 ounces or something like. It's really light, and it's just got power up the butt. That thing will really turn a big prop if you want it to. So, but yeah, it just purrs along. It doesn't. There's no real break in it.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of a tutu when you raise the nose, either, you know.
Right. Yeah. Same thing with my LA.
It's not a break like you think of.
Not like a Fox or a OS Max S.
Yeah, how we set it up and stuff like that with the Venturi and the prop and stuff, I don't know if it breaks more than 300-400 RPM at the. It's really, you don't hear much of a break.
Yeah,
but it does just a little bit. So, but we never could get that airplane to fly worth a crap, and I don't know. That was a kit bash. Everybody said you got to increase the elevator and stuff like that, and it flies like crap. But we put a tab on it, and what I'm thinking is I may do is cut the flaps back and then glue the end of the flaps out on the tip so they don't move. Because I've been reading on Stunthangar and stuff that if you have full span flaps, that the vortex coming off of them will mess the airplane up, and it just does some weird stuff sometimes. And it'll make, if she turns a real sharp corner or whatever, the thing I call it tail wagging. It climbs up like this with the tail going back.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, so we've never been able to get that out of there. And we had Dan Banjak try and John Paris, and we tried, and we just could never.
Yeah.
And it's light and stuff like that, but we never could.
Got the flaps all the way out to the tip, and I think the Cardinal does too. Or it might stop a little bit before the tip. I can't remember now.
But so I don't know if that does it, because the guys they're telling me, well, when you increase the length of that tail, you push that tail then into the vortex. If I'd have left the tail smaller, they said it probably wouldn't happen. But too late now. We added.
It'd be fun to get a mini wind tunnel and be able to smoke in there and watch exactly where the vortices, excuse me, to watch where the vortices go.
Yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine built a wind tunnel. He was a speed flyer. He was quite a well-known speed flyer, Bill Bell, and he still got it there in his backyard. It's huge. This huge wind tunnel that he made. He uses huge current to run the thing, to turn the motor up. But yeah, he was obviously keen on getting his speed models as clean as he could get them, and he used his wind tunnel to experiment. But with the fixed piece of outer flap, the Vector 40's got it, and I thought, oh yeah, that's neat because it's hinged, so you can adjust it, which seemed a nice evolution, a nice step to trimming your plane without putting trim tabs on, having the trim tab as part of the wing. So, yeah, I've got some terrible flying planes. I'd like to see how the Vector performs when I finally get around to finishing it. But I recently
really likes a Vector. I mean, we'll see this new plane and stuff like that, but that's what we were flying tonight, and she just really likes how a Vector flies.
Well, how do you think it's going to be with her changing planes so close to contest time?
We're going to have, we're headed back Sunday, so she's going to have 1 month of flying that. So we'll see how fast she can adapt to it or whatever.
Well, she's young and smart. I'm sure she'll find a way. It'd be harder for a guy to do.
Part of the struggle is going to be flying without being overly cautious.
Right. That's what she said. Oh my God, I'm going to be so afraid to crash that after I got out so much work in it. I said, she goes, it'd be embarrassing to go there and crash in front of everybody. I said, well, it might be just as embarrassing if you took last because you flew damn 10-foot bottoms and all that kind of stuff and didn't score any points.
Yeah.
I said, I'd rather go out in a blaze of glory myself.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there.
Yeah, it's not a good look, especially as an experienced flyer, to get more and more cautious just because you're trying to save your plane. I'm guilty of that.
Can you ship the Vector over there and have it as a backup?
I'm building another one right now as a take apart.
Yeah, but another one's not going to fly the same as this one.
We're pretty good now at getting them know what to do to them, you know, flying so many vectors. So, and these ARFs, because I think they're jig built or whatever,
Yeah,
they fly about the same as the other ones, you know.
you're talking about an ARF.
Yeah. I took a ARF and then I'm going to try to glue the wing together and then make it like an RC airplane. Do the tail just like they do the tails of any take apart.
Yeah.
So that's my plan. I went and got some, oh, they're not a set screw. They're a thing you screw down into wood and glue in place, and then you can put a screw into them.
Yeah, like an threaded insert.
Yeah, inserts. That's what I got some of them. So I just got to make up inside of the battery box. I'll put a piece of wood and then get the inserts in that and then go down. I'm going to glue a block like Wendy did. I've been watching these Wendy videos that I got. And he takes a block and glues it to the wing and then puts the screws into that block to hold it in place.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try that. And I think that'll work. And then in the back, I'll pin it and then a screw into there to hold the back in place, and so it should line up every time. But we'll see how it works. But yeah, that's the plan. Is in the next month, well, the next actually week, we're going to Brodack. Otherwise, I'd have it done to get that done, and I'll have somebody fly it, or she can fly it once or twice and see how it does and take it along. But the other thing is we want to see how this other plane flies. If it's too big for her or whatever, maybe too heavy for it.
Well, if you had somebody in France, you could have an ARF sent to France and assemble it in France. If you had a contact there, and you could put it together before the event.
Well, that's what Dennis Adamission said. He goes, just send it over in the box.
Yeah.
And he said, put it together with RTV silicone. They've tried it. They said that it holds fine. He goes, and you take a piece of fishing string and you can cut it apart.
Yeah. Post it back. Yeah. Makes sense.
You know, but I don't know. I never thought about RTV silicone, but I know when you silicone something in place, you can never get the damn shit off.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it does cut.
If its only mission in life is to serve one purpose, then go for it.
Yeah, it'd have to make 4 to 6 flights, and that would be it. So besides some practice flights, but yeah, hopefully we'll find out. I should know tomorrow what Chris thinks on how it flies, and then we'll find out Sunday how Samantha feels about it. But I can't spend any more money on it, so it's gonna have to. I guess the more money you put on something, the better it flies. So it should fly great.
I hope so. So how many spare engines, ESCs, etc., are you going to take with it?
One. I brought one extra prop, one extra motor, one extra timer, and one extra speed controller. And I think I got $1,300 in that setup.
Wow. Wow.
Yep. With shipping and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, converting, if somebody were to convert from glow to electric, it's no simple chore to retool for all of that.
well, one good thing about it is that John Paris wanted one. And I said, you got a plane ready for it to go in or anything like that? And he said, no. I said, if I buy an extra one, you want to buy it from me when I get back from France or when we get back from France. And he said, sure, that sounds great. So if we don't use it, I'm going to sell one of them off.
What you eating, Charles? You got Mike and Ike's over there?
I got some nuts.
Oh, yeah, I caught you eating one. I thought
California
maybe Mike and
almond.
Ike.
You got some California almonds.
Some almonds, some peanuts,
Almonds.
some cashews.
Yeah, I like almonds. They get all stuck in your teeth, though.
Uh-huh.
That was like when my mom, she was 15 when she got married, ran away to Florida, and they went pick some peanuts or whatever. You know, they say picking peanuts, but she wanted to know where the peanut tree was. And you really don't pick peanuts, I guess. You dig them.
Yeah, you dig them.
No one says I'm going to go dig peanuts. They say I'm going to go pick some peanuts. I guess you pick them off the damn
Pull
root.
the whole peanut plant up. Now, my father-in-law, he was a agricultural guy. My wife came from an agricultural family, but he had a huge backyard garden and had some peas. And a woman was visiting one day, and he offered her some peas, or she asked, I don't know which, but she went out in the backyard. He told her to help herself. She went out in the backyard and came back in with an armload of the plants. She had pulled the whole plants out of the ground.
Yeah, here, 2 years ago, from South Carolina, I got my pea seed. I got some cream 40 acre peas. Them things are hard to find anymore. But, you know, my family still eats them down south, but they grow them, you know, but you don't hear too much about acre peas. So that's my favorite.
I know what white acre peas are. Is that like what you're talking about? Or
Yeah, they're well, these are like a light green and they'll have like a little white eye in them or something, a little lighter eye.
There's all varieties. We generally call them field peas, I think.
Field peas, yep, exactly.
Yeah. Kind of like a black-eyed pea, only smaller and better.
Yeah, they're not as harsh. Well, that's like 2 years ago. I took boiled peanuts to Brodat. And we always have lunch there, so I broke out the boiled peanuts.
How'd they like that?
They ate them and stuff, and I forget what someone said they taste like, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, they do taste like that. But that's how I usually eat peanuts. They're boiled. I don't hardly ever eat them.
Yeah. Were they new crop boiled peanuts, or were they boiled?
Something patched. I got them in a can.
Oh, good God. Yeah. Peanut patch or one of those.
Patch,
yeah.
And them things are really pretty good for.
They are. You got to cook them a little bit more because they get stuck in the shell. I hate that about them, but they're okay in a pinch.
That's what my uncle says. He always throws them in the microwave for a little bit, heats them up, and he goes, it's like they're fresh, but they're not quite as salty as I like them, but I don't need all that salt anyway. So
I don't put as much salt in. Now, I only cook new crop peanuts for myself, which is the green ones straight out of the ground that you have to wash the dirt off and pull the tails. And early in the spring and early in the fall, they're really good. In the summertime, they get a little too mature because I think the ground gets a little drier and it's got to be damp for them to get them out of the ground easily. Yeah. And so they pull them a little younger in the spring and the fall because you get 2 crops every year, you know, early crop and late crop.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of different varieties of them. There's a Spanish red skin, and there's a big white skin that we call a Valencia. They all have a different flavor. The raw ones, the raw green ones, really cook fast. You can cook a pot of them in about an hour, and then let them soak in the brine for as long as you want to get them as salty as you want. But then they are so good. But I cook mine a little less. A lot of people cook them to mush, but I like mine to still be a little al dente.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't use a lot of salt, but I use enough to where it's salty, but you can still taste the peanut flavor. And so it's picking the peanuts at the store, choosing the peanuts is what I mean. Is 99% of the trick of getting good boiled peanuts. And then I also use rock salt instead of table salt.
Table salt. Yeah. Yeah, that's the way we always made them too.
Yeah.
But my brother has a friend that raised hogs, and I was going to get my uncle to send me up a bunch of peanuts and see if he won't raise a hog on peanuts like in the old days. But we'll see. But there's nothing like pork that's from a hog that's been raised on peanuts.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it is. It's actually wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, you can there's such a huge difference between a hog raised on corn and a hog raised on peanuts. But the fat, it's it's not good for you to eat pork that hog's been raised on peanuts, but sure does taste better.
Yeah, seems like it'd be nice, yeah.
I wonder if that would affect people that are allergic to peanuts. Eating
I don't know if it would or not. But, it used to be in the old days when you bought pork, your bacon would crisp up, the fat would crisp up, and now the stuff, it ain't the same. It don't taste the same, and it don't cook up the same. When I was back down there in Florida, my uncle had somebody raised a bunch of hogs on peanuts, and he made some bacon, and it was like, oh my God, I remember this. Yeah. My cholesterol probably was up so high that week that I was pumping glue through it, but it was good eating.
So how are you feeling now? Have you gotten your body rid of the dope fumes and feeling clear now?
Today I'm feeling the best. We fixed a few things because we took the airplane. We were going to go Friday, and that didn't work out. And we were going to go Saturday. Chris had to work, so he went Sunday. Well, then we decided, to put in some more time and fix this and sand this and try to make it even look better. And I was so sick Sunday that I didn't even feel like going to Chicago.
Wow.
And I felt bad for the rest of the week.
Excuse me, I'm laughing at R.W. Bishop. Bob says, al dente. Did you know you have to extend your pinky when you say that?
I don't like them. I don't like them really mushy like that. Some people like them to where you put them in your mouth and they just dissolve away or whatever. But I don't.
Now the ones we call pops are the most immature ones, and you just put the whole thing in your mouth and eat it, shell and all. Yeah. And those are really good too. But a good batch of them will have a bunch of pops mixed in. Don't throw them away before you cook them. Yeah, just cook them too. Yeah, those are good. I wish all of y'all could try what I know as a good boiled peanut.
Yeah,
I wish I could try it too. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I wish you could come over to Columbia and visit me, Charles.
I would love to.
Or vice versa.
I'd love that too.
I'd love
when we were kids,
San Diego.
We were at my grandma's house and she was cooking up. She sent one uncle out to get some peanuts or whatever, and he dug them up someplace, probably one of cousin's house or something's growing them. Brought them, and my brother went someplace, and my grandma cooked the peanuts up, Me and my cousins were eating them, and I was shelling them and just dropping them in a bowl, you know,
Yeah.
a whole bunch of them instead of doing them singly and eating them. So I shelled a bunch of them like that, and we had them like that. My brother come home and he's like, "What do you guys got?" And we're like, "Wasps' eggs." He's like, "What?" We're like, "Yeah, they found a big wasp nest and Grandma cooked the eggs all up." He said, "Oh, like try them. They're really good." "No, oh, get them away from me." Oh, my dad got so mad. "Why would you tell him that?" Because it was fun.
Yeah.
But there for a long time, he wouldn't eat a peanut because every time he thought about it, he thought it was a wasp's egg.
Put a picture in his mind he couldn't unforget.
Yeah, he'll eat them now and stuff. He
Yeah,
was
my
probably
wife.
like 5 or 6.
My wife, her dad told her that tapioca was fish eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I remember we were talking about tapioca pudding one night, and you said that, and I told my wife that. Ever since, now I could manage to strangle down some tapioca pudding, but ever since you said that, I have not been able to eat tapioca pudding again.
My wife can't eat it. And I'm like, you don't know what you're missing. This is so good. I go, it's not fish eggs. She goes,
What is that? What is that stuff in there anyway?
I don't know what it is.
It's either tappy or oka.
Yeah, or a hybrid of both tapioca. I'll look that up. I'll have to Google it.
Yeah.
It's probably just flour or something they do some way they cook it, I bet. But I don't know. I've never seen a tapioca plant, so.
Yeah, those little balls look so uniform. I don't know if they're. It's amazing. They're all consistent. You know?
I've never actually cleaned the pudding off of one and looked at it. What else do you use them for besides pudding?
Nothing else that I know
Go
of.
fishing with them.
You what? You go fishing with them?
Stick them on a hook.
Uh-huh.
Trick the fish. A little bit of roll here.
Fish for minnows, yeah.
But yeah.
So, do you have any pictures of Samantha's plane? I've really never seen it. Do you have pictures of it?
Yeah, on my phone, but I don't know how I'd bring it up. I guess I could show you on the phone. Maybe I can hold it close enough to the camera. Hold on a second.
Yeah, he had it all painted up as far as he was going to get before he gave it back to Chris and brought it in to the show the other night, but I had signed off by the time he came back. It was 12:15, and so we didn't get to see it, and so now Chris has got it, so we didn't ever get to look.
Uh-oh.
I just wrecked that wing. Not really. Oh shit! I was knocking over everything.
Okay. Well, let me click on that. That's actually a pretty good picture. Back up a little. It's out of focus. Keep going. Stop. It's not going to focus anywhere, I don't think.
Huh.
I can see letters on the wing at one point. That's the best focus we've gotten yet. Okay.
That's pretty.
That's nice.
That's nice looking, yeah.
That's really nice. Yeah.
What's the Samantha's plane so far?
Yep. It's got the black on the nose of it on the top and the red in the back, and then you can't see it on there, but it's all blue to match the blue on the wings.
Oh, we just got some information here. Bob Bishop looked up tapioca. He's got the Portuguese pronunciation, which I'm going to leave alone, but it is a starch extracted from cassava root, Manihot esculenta. This species is native to the northeast region of Brazil. All right.
Okay.
It was very popular in the Pacific.
He also commented on the plane. He said, very nice.
Thank you.
Now, how do you come up with your color schemes?
Samantha just has it in her head. I don't know how in the hell she does that.
I still don't know the color scheme on my Cardinal yet. I had things in my mind and I keep going back and forth. I just make it up as I go along.
That's like my sister gave my brother a painting she did of Africa, or come up with a painting Africa. But the teacher wanted it, but she gave it to my brother. And my brother's, because he's been to Africa twice, and he's like, I can't believe she captured the color of the sky. Because she's seen a picture, it's, I guess, a certain, it only lasts for like 5 minutes. Something about, and they're in South Africa, the way that the light come in through the atmosphere or whatever. It's a kind of a weird reddish color or something. And he couldn't get over it. And she said it took her a week to mix the color, to get the color right.
Wow.
But she come up with that picture, and it's like, I don't know. If it ain't straight lines, or if it ain't certain color, I don't know. I'm not talented when it comes to anything like that.
Yeah, see, I copy. If I see something I like, I can copy it.
Yeah.
As far as coming up with my own idea, as far as that color scheme, I'm clueless, you know. But what I was entertaining, I don't know if this is too difficult, but I have plans for my Pathfinder built up ship, and I was thinking about someone told me if I use Illustrator, I can input into Illustrator, and then they have a tool where I can just take away all the formers and all the ribs, so I have just a silhouette. And I wanted to print that, and then just try colored pencils and try different things to find something that I like, you know. That's kind of what I was entertaining doing.
Yeah, she just, I don't know, she just looks at colors and like, I want to do this, this, and this, and but you know, it's like on this Banshee, I thought it turned out pretty good, and it's just something that she came up with, you know.
It sounds a lot worse than it is.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
But if you can see the tail and stuff, how she did it, but
oh, that is cool. I like that.
And then on the bottom of the wing, you know, this was everything going in, you know, the direction of the airplane or whatever. And but
wow.
yeah, I mean, pink and kind of a maroon and gold and white, but it come out good, you know.
Yes.
That looks pretty. I mean, it looks like a girl's plane.
Yeah. That's my brother goes, man, I really don't like pink on airplanes and stuff. And I'm like, well, it's probably a pretty good thing because you're a guy.
That's a bit of a problem. If you like the guy, it doesn't help you in the control line world anyway. I don't imagine it would.
I wear pink shirts.
Well, that's like
With
this airplane, it says USA and it's red, white, and blue. She goes, it looks like a boy's airplane. I said, well, you did it in the color of the flags, and so you really didn't have much choice. They don't make a girl's flag and a boy's flag. It's just the U.S. flag.
It's hard for my boys at school because when Otto started school, his favourite colour was pink, and he quickly learnt that you don't wear pink as a boy. So he'd want pink this, pink that, and he likes pink as a colour. You can't hear me saying it now, but that was his favourite colour, and so he'd want pink clothes. But once he started school, that was it. He got told, no, you don't wear pink, you wear blue, you wear grey, you wear black, whatever. So yeah, sort of
I got a pink shirt, and you know, people are like, pink shirt, but other people say, man, that really looks good with blue jeans and stuff. And I was like, a color deal, you know.
It does.
My pink shirts are striped seersucker, and I like those shirts. They look pretty good. I like a black T-shirt underneath it. Pink and black go together well.
They do.
I told everybody I paid enough in like alimony and child support and all this kind of stuff. I can wear whatever color I want, because no matter what color I'm wearing, don't say nothing about me. Because
there comes a time in every man's life when you just don't give a flying shit what anybody thinks about it.
That's right.
Well, I live in New Zealand, and New Zealand's very conservative, and our national colour is black. All these people will buy a new Audi or whatever and paint it black because it's the national colour. They'll paint all their cars black. They'll paint everything black. They'll wear black and virtually nothing else. So it is very much the uniform. Like their rugby team, all blacks. It's all.
What color is your national flag?
Our national flag's a carryover of a colonial era, and a lot of people don't like it. They want to change it to the common idea is to go to a fern, a black background with a white fern in the black background, whereas we have an English Union Jack, blue, and then 4 little stars, very similar to the Australian flag, and everybody says it's too similar to Australian, we want to change it.
Australian flag's got the Southern Cross constellation on it.
Yeah, but the chosen design for the New Zealand flag looked like the ISIS flag to me. It just was not a good look, you know, but it's just that all black thing that they've got. A lot of people just think, yeah, it's our national color, we want to be all black. So
now like say it with race cars and stuff like that, is that the national color for like race cars and stuff?
Yeah, well, they'll do like their yachting. Often they'll do the boat completely black, and then it'll have like a koru or a Maori symbol or a fern on it in white as a contrast.
Okay, because you know England's national color is green. You know that's come from that they're green cars they used to run in racing.
Yeah, that's right.
Red. That's why you always see Ferrari that they call it Ferrari red, but that's the national color. The United States is blue and white. It's blue with a white stripe.
Yeah.
If you see the old that long 24-hour race, Le Mans.
Right.
You know, the old Le Mans cars used to always be painted in the country's color. And they ran out of solids, so then they went, with 2 colors and stuff like that. And but I forget what French was. It blue and red? I forget what.
They're red, white, and blue, I believe.
Is white and blue?
I think it's red, white, and blue bars.
Oh, that's their racing colors. But you had British racing green, Italian racing red, and
Their racing green's one but ugly color, but I never have been a big fan of green things. Once in a while, I see it where it really works. The 72 Chevelle SS with mint green stripes. I'm sorry, what?
I said, I bet you when you were young, you had a baggie full of green things.
I might have, yeah. A few of them.
Fond of green then.
Yeah. It cost $20 a piece and wasn't worth a shit either. But anyway, yeah, that was Mexican green. But the best green thing that I've ever seen is a 72 Chevelle SS with 454 with a mint green. I can't remember his mint green stripes and a white background, or I think it was a base on the whole body was a mint green with white stripes, and they had those big wide twin stripes on the hood and on the and on the trunk lid, and that is if I ever had a 72 Chevelle, is one of the last ones with the chrome bumpers. Then I like that color. But that's about the only green thing I can think of that I really like. Now, my son is a big fan of green stuff, but I think that's because he's such a naturist.
Well, my brother has a 72 Olds 442, and it was done in, I forget the color green they called it, and it was really limited, and it was, they put it on the 442 and stuff, and then his has black on the hood, and then black how they did the 442 on the sides.
Yeah,
that car is gorgeous. It's like, oh man! But they were trying to come out with colors then to go, with plum crazy purple and sublime green that all the Mopars had, and that orange, something orange, and so these car companies were trying to come up with colors that, like you said, that Chevelle and the Oldsmobile, they come up with colors that were like, wow, that's because you could be a mile away, and if you seen a damn sublime green car going down, you knew it was a Mopar.
Yeah,
there was no
I
No
had
doubt about it.
I inherited when my dad died, and I was 17 at the time or 16. I inherited his 69 Chevelle SS 396, and it was white with a black vinyl top. But I got rid of that vinyl top and painted it dark blue, not real dark blue, but it was not a Chevy color, and I put white rally stripes on it. That's those wide stripes on the induction pumps on the hood and on the trunk lid too, and that looked pretty good. That was a good looking car. It
Shit,
all ass too, boy.
my buddy, he was like my big brother. He lived across the street from my mom and dad. He was 6 years older than I was, and he had a '69 Chevelle. How I could still to this day, I could take damn transmission in and out blindfolded. As many times
Have a
we
Muncie 4-speed.
yeah,
Yeah, mine had a turbo 400. Most
clutches
hot
and
rods had Muncie 4-speeds, but that Chevelle had a turbo 400.
but just about every night we were over there. He's always doing something different, having head work done, and we put cams in it. And we were always over there working on that car. But by the time from I was 13 to 17, I don't know how many hours every week, I did that stuff. And it was my girlfriend who said, you should get into air conditioning. And I'm like, why is that? They said, well, it's a mechanic and you love working on stuff, but it's the top paying mechanic stuff right now. And that's ended up how I went to school for air conditioning, because I was going to be a car mechanic.
Wow.
Because I loved working on cars all the time. That's all I did when I was young. My buddy's car. And
Probably made the right choice, because I look at car mechanics and even their technicians now, but that looks like just a difficult job, a difficult way to make a living. Tough on your body.
Well, that's like we have a bunch of the small Ford vans, and we got a couple of the new Dodge small vans, and the radiator fans go out on the Dodges. They're like 40,000 miles just after they come out of warranty.
Electric fans?
Yeah, electric fans. You got to put it on a lift, disassemble the underside, drop the radiator out through the bottom to get the fan out, and then put the fan back up there in place, kind of hold it in place.
Yeah.
Reassemble the whole bottom of that damn van.
All them splash pans and everything.
Oh, he's like, who in the hell ever thought of this, But my mom's Camry, her radiator went bad on that. And I drained it, changed the radiator, and had it filled less than a half an hour. It was 2 bolts, and the fans kind of swing open and they come off.
Yeah.
And unplugged them, and I took them off. 2 bolts on the top. After you take off the 2 hoses, that come up out of there, set the new one in, put the little brackets back on. I'm like,
I
hate how somebody should design a car.
Yeah.
4 bolts is all you had to change that radiator.
Yeah, you got to be careful and look close before you start disassembling. Sometimes they've made an easy way to pop it right out of there, and if you don't see it, you can end up going to a whole lot more work.
I did on her Elantra. That took me about 2 hours, because to get the fans out of there was the hardest part. You had to work them this way, and I finally figured out how to get them around the side of the engine. The catalytic converter was right there in the way, and I finally figured out you had to turn it a certain way, and then once you knew that, it wasn't so bad. But unless someone told you, I fought with that, and I'm like, how in the hell they do this? They stuck the engine in after they had the fans in place.
Yeah.
My son just bought an Elantra, a brand new 2017. They had it on the lot, couldn't sell it because it had a manual transmission, which is what he wanted. And so he just bought it a couple of weeks ago. If he'd known he was going to get this new job, he could have probably bought more car, but it'll get him around in the meantime. A thunderstorm blew a tree down on his Sonata a couple of months ago, and he's been shopping for a car ever since because they totaled it.
Well, I got my Elantra got totaled out when I was driving about 240 miles a week to pick Samantha back up from her mom's back and forth. I wanted something better on gas and stuff like that, so I got that thing. But I put 80,000 miles on that car and never did nothing to it. Not even the brakes. I had to put tires on it.
Yeah.
But besides, I didn't have to put brakes on that car.
80,000 is probably about time for the front brakes. Rear brakes probably still okay.
You know, but my mom on hers, they put 100. She had 130,000, and I think I put new pads on her car at 110,000. You know, my pickup truck every 25,000. I got a.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Well, how big is that truck?
I don't know, but the brakes are about the same size as on that Elantra.
Oh, really? Yeah, I ain't got enough.
Yeah, that Elantra had huge rotors and huge brake pads.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, they're almost the same size as the ones on my truck. And the truck weighs twice as much. But I did, you know, I don't know now because I was always pulling that camper. And I have a feeling that took a lot out of the brakes too.
Yeah, probably did.
You know, but yeah, Nissan was known for between 2004 and 2006 to have brake problems, and then they redid them. You know, and so then 3 years you got to get the brakes for that truck, or all the other stuff will still work. But that's like my brother said on his F-150. His is the same way. He gets 25 to 30,000, and that's it.
A lot of the modern cars, the actual brake pads are quite hard, and the actual discs are very soft, and you chew through the disc pad, the actual disc rotors themselves. It's just the way they're figured to get a better bite out of them, and they chew out the rotors very quickly. And we've found that with some of our cars, we've got to replace all the brakes. Rotors are all undersized very quickly. But it's just the way they're trying to get more stopping power out of them. They use a relatively soft material on the rotors. And one car we had a really poor brake pad material, and the brakes would fade really badly, and they just go to a harder braking material. And we went to one that they used for the taxis, and that did the trick. It transformed the car. Just a change of materials, change of brake pad material meant that we got much better mileage out of the pads. It wasn't fading anywhere as bad.
Well, it's so bad here last summer, about this time, I put on all brand new rotors, pads, and calipers on my truck and get 120,000 on it. I'm like, I'm just going to put all new stuff on it. So, because I had one puck that broke on it because they're made of phenolic material or whatever. So I do this. Well, then just before I came there to North Carolina, my rear brake locked up and was smoking and all this kind of stuff, you know, and I'm like, crap. So I take it apart and I'm like, man, this is brand new. How did this caliper go bad? Well, when I got it off, when I slipped the caliper in, there's like these little rubber squishy things when the thing moves that keeps the dirt and stuff out.
Yeah, dust boot or something.
Dust boot.
Yeah.
It had come across, and when I put it on there, it cut that dust boot. They put so much salt on the roads here in the winter that it froze up that pin. It was rusted so bad and just froze stiff. And I'm like, God, I can't believe how much salt they put on the roads here.
Yeah, we don't have that here. That's once in a while they'll salt the roads, but not like y'all have. Yeah, that eats cars alive. I always, whenever I'm looking for a pre-owned vehicle, I always try my best to look for any signs of salt underneath it, you know, rust and salt.
I was like, this Samantha's car there. I got her. I bought it in Orlando, so the center part of Florida. But I crawl onto that, and I'm like, my God, this is a 2003, and that was in 2015 I got it for her, but there was no rust. It looked like come off the showroom floor. I couldn't believe it. So I haven't seen a car that looks this good underneath since I got my brand new truck.
A lot of times living near the ocean's just as bad as living in the salt belt.
Yeah. Luckily, this was Orlando, though, and I guess they didn't ever get it close to the ocean or something, because there wasn't a speck of rust on nothing on this car. There is now. It's hard to believe after 2 years.
Is it undercoated?
It was factory done or whatever, but you can still see it in there because the undercoat cracks. It gets old and cracks.
Yeah.
You know, and you can see bolt heads are rusted and stuff like that.
Huh.
He had a blue shirt on.
Oh, he's got his pajamas on. He got all muddy, yeah, and that's Max. Yeah, but yeah, on colours, my favourite colour for when I was young on my planes was purple. I like painting all my combat wings and models purple, and I got known for having them all purple. And I suppose.
Well, that was Samantha's. If you've seen her first everything was purple. My brother says she paints all of her airplanes purple. I was like, yep, she does. Different color purples, but she likes purple.
Purple is great.
Bit of colour. You get a bit of criticism here if you do anything too colourful in New Zealand. Some of my models are a bit colourful. There was a chap in our club that loved doing everything yellow, and he certainly stood out, and he liked wearing yellow gear to go with it. Old Andrew Martin, but he's gone now. But he had a lot of colour. He loved racing motorbikes. He was really keen on his motorbike racing, so he didn't mind standing out in the crowd and being different.
Yeah, my doctor, he got divorced and stuff, and he bought a Mitsubishi, one of their faster ones or whatever, and it was a pink. And a buddy of mine we flew with and stuff, and we know him for years. He goes, yep, he had to go and buy himself a P-word pink car because that's the only thing on his mind since he got divorced.
That's funny.
But it was the pinkest damn sports car you ever seen in your life. I was haul ass, but it was like, I don't know about that, Phil. It was a bright pink car.
There was a Porsche that you think it was a Porsche, like a 968 or something, and they had a nice, bright, brilliant purple of a colour, and that was a pinky purple. I just think that's a stunning colour. It certainly stood out, but for a Porsche, you sort of expect them to stand out. But not so unusual.
Yeah.
If you're driving a Porsche, you don't really want to drive a grey one. You want to be seen, don't you? Like a Ferrari. You wouldn't drive a grey Ferrari, would you? And I suppose a
lot of them green Subarus around.
Mm.
That is kind of fluorescent green.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That at least at one time was a popular color for Subaru.
Yeah.
And when I went to visit my sister-in-law in Seattle, I never saw so many Subarus in one place in my life. But I guess Washington State's got, on one side it's a lot of snowy mountains, the other side is the coast. So I guess those are mountain cars for all-wheel drive, I think. So Subarus are supposed to be good for that kind of terrain.
Yeah, I was looking. They said that like the #1 selling car in Colorado was Subaru. Florida is Toyota. Texas is Chevrolet, but because of the trucks. Like everything there is Chevrolet, trucks. And I forget what Pennsylvania, Ford trucks or so. I don't know. It's really weird how different states will have such a big amount of a certain type of vehicle.
Kevin McElroy says, good morning. Is it past 12 there now, Rusty.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12:01, and I
Oh, I
got
was gonna say, when you put your date in, you put yesterday's date in.
that's
It's
because I
Friday
started
the
the show
8th and not Friday
yesterday.
the 7th.
Yeah, because I started the show yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's June 9th now. I started it on June 8th.
But you put down June 7th.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
I sure. Oh, crap.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I meant to ask you about that.
I'll change it when I edit it.
And the only reason I knew is that my best friend's birthday was yesterday on the 7th. And when I seen that, it said Friday the 7th, and I'm like, hell, did I call Pete today? I thought that was yesterday. I'm like, I know that was yesterday.
I'm glad you brought that to my attention. I'll change it when I edit it.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to edit the first 45 minutes or an hour out of this
Not
show.
like you don't do a good job, Rusty. You do really do and stuff. And so I won't give you no crap about it. I just happen to see that on there.
And thanks for the alert. Yeah. Oh, hey, Kevin. Good morning. You came in just as we're about to sign off. Kevin McElroy just showed up. But I'm got a long drive. I got to go see the Grateful Dead tomorrow night up in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I gotta be rolling about.
How many of the original bands still in that?
Say what?
How many of the original members are still in it?
Several. I don't know. Bob Weir's still there, but I'm not sure. But my son's a big fan of him, and he and his SO are taking us up to Raleigh tomorrow, and that's me and Holly's 34th anniversary present.
Congratulations!
Wow.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Actually, our anniversary is not until July 14th, but that's what this trip's all about. So yeah, we're gonna have a good time. I do have to get up and get rolling early, so we're gonna have to sign off here.
Tell her congratulations on being so nice to keep you around for that long.
Yeah. Yeah. She's a babe too. Yes, I couldn't live without her.
That's good.
But y'all, I hate to cut it off especially on a Friday night, but I got to go, and I also got to edit this video because Sparky PM'd me and asked me to cut the first part out of it where we were talking about politics. So I'm going to try to do that. Hopefully I can remember how to work.
Well, I'm going to get rid of that half of the best part of the whole show tonight.
I learned so much.
I got into it.
Walked away for a while. I'd had enough. But hey, it's Sparky's turf. So you know.
It really should. I'm one of the biggest ones on Stunthangar and stuff. They don't go there and don't say that stuff, and because Samantha just said something to me earlier. She goes, you say that all the time, is that you don't get into that because you piss people off. And I'm like, I try, but people don't want to. They think it's okay to do it. And that's why I kind of believe in PC.
Yeah.
Because all it does is cause fights and arguments and stuff like that. And my mom tells me all the time, you can't say nothing nice. Don't say anything at all.
I don't know about that.
But she tells me that all the time. She's always been that way. Can't say nothing nice. Don't say anything at all. But
hey, dudes, y'all have a good weekend, and I'll give you a concert report on Monday evening, and y'all do something fun this weekend so you can come back and tell us about it.
All right.
All right, man. All right. Good night, everybody.
I'm going to a little bit.
Oh, and the YouTube guys too. Yeah, Bob Bishop says good night.
I'll stick around, Steve. I'll stick around.
Thanks, YouTube.
I won't hang up.
Appreciate y'all hanging in with us too. All you dudes over there.
Take it easy.
Fair winds, tight lines, and we'll see you later. Good night.